everyone. Once again, I welcome you all in the new topic and new discussion topic, that is understanding leadership. This is somehow related to power structure, because leaders are what and leaders are whom, that actually holds the power, and what kind of the leaders, accordingly power structure works within that community. So the community workers has to very understand to this understand this whole power structure, and also understand that the kind of leadership present in the community. So what is actually leadership is what is the meaning of leadership? So leadership is the art of motivating and influencing subordinates to perform their duty. So here it's very important, as the first explanation of is that leaders here maybe is so much influence, the kind of leaders, success of the leaders is so much based on the kind of the followers they have, right? So it's to motivating and influencing subordinates. So that is what the followers or subordinates, anything you can call it. Or the next very important aspect is about environment, that is mainly about the social environment, so or situation you could say. So what kind of the situation that leader is having, whether it is a supportive environment or supportive situation for that leader or not. So this is all happened. Many a time leaders are born with the traits, as we are also going to discuss about the theory. Many a times they have received some kind of the followers and subordinates, so they became leaders. Many a time the situation makes someone as a leader. So another explanation of the leadership is that leadership as a social process that enables individuals to work together to achieve result that they could never achieve working alone. So this is what, from the community perspective, it's more important to understand. So just see into that, this the leadership cannot develop like by it's not just a word, but rather it holds a lot of the things like the management, vision, goal, strategy, challenges, motivation. So all this holds, and if the amalgamation of these all should be in a right manner, so that a good leader could be developed and enhanced. So look into some definition. So leadership, as per the Keith Davis, very famous, mainly it's in the management side. So leadership as the ability to influence people to work willingly towards achievement of group goals. He emphasizes the importance of interpersonal relationship and the motivation of leadership. So mainly if you look into this definition, so emphasis by the Keith Davis is in the interpersonal relationship and motivational aspect of leadership, of leaders. How much leader are capable enough to put some kind of the motivation to their followers. If the followers are motivated, so success is so easy to get. And interpersonal relationship, what kind of the relationship the managers is having with their followers. If it is good relation, right now I just understand the good and bad term. Later on we'll discuss in more kind of the relationship of manager with others or the leaders with others. So interpersonal relationship should be in a good sense, so that their followers should listen to them, and the communication should be clear, should be better, and should be very clear, should not be very any kind of the ambiguity is there. Next is, as per the case Rao, leadership as the ability to inspire and motivate people who to work towards common goals. He emphasizes the cultural context of leadership in India, nothing the importance of values and ethical considerations. So, from Indian perspective, understanding the ethical and the cultural values so important. If otherwise, what happened if you are not following any cultural demands and ethical aspect of that community, the followers of that leader is not going to listen, because the cultural things is, and many a time it happened, and you can imagine and you can very much realize and analyze that how these many a time the leaders uses this cultural and ethical aspects to be in the position power, because they use that your culture is going to be by another set of the people is going to harm your culture, is going to your ethics is been is not taken seriously by the someone. So by using all kind of the tactics, many a time they use they try to retain their power structure or not. So leadership has the ability to inspire, but the good thing is about to inspire and to motivate people. So here motivation and inspiration, as the Keith Davis has already talked about. And then as per the MS Rao, from the Indian perspective, leadership has the capacity to influence the same thing, others to achieve shared vision. So shared vision means it's not let your goal is the goal of the everyone. So the good leader is that if it is your goal even, you have to show it like this, you have to draft it, the goal and vision is like that, that everyone of your followers can identify with that goal. So once everyone get identified with that goal, so then you can be easy to influence others to participate. So he highlights the significance of emotional intelligence, very important, right? That is EQ. Na? That is EQ as like the IQ. So your IQ should be good as well as your EQ should be good. That is the emotional intelligence. And adaptability in different leadership, particularly in the dynamic Indian business environment, where there's a lot kind of the variations, lot kind of the disparities is there. So you have to be good enough. I mean, if you talk from the management perspective, as well as MS Rao has said, majority of the time you get the definition from the management perspective, because while talking about the management aspect, leadership is very, very important aspect. But here we are more concerned about discussing the leadership from the community perspective. So your EQ should be very balanced, means controlled emotional involvement, as one of the principles of social work says, that you have to be controlled emotions and you have to show your this emotions to your community, and so that your community can connect with you. So that is very, connection is very important. Then leadership as a rational process that involves influencing others to achieve goals. He focuses on the importance of trust and communication in developing strong leader followers. So SV Singh is talking about the strong leader follower relationship, and within the Indian context. So leadership is a relational process that involves influencing others to achieve goal. He focuses on the importance of trust and communication. So again, same as MS Rao has talked about, it's about how you have to be good enough, and the good leader is who can develop a strong leader follower relationship, so that by this he and she can actually influence their followers. Okay, so just moving ahead, I hope you understand the whole explanation, because across all the definition, the leadership is viewed as an influential process that motivates and guides individuals and groups to actually to attain certain goals. So key themes of all these definitions include the importance of interpersonal relationship, and then cultural context, and then emotional intelligence, trust, and communication in effective leadership. So moving ahead, so these are some major characteristic of a good leader. From like leadership is a personal quality. There are many times one of the trait theories talks about that's a personal quality, and then it exists only with followers. If you do not have followers, you cannot be a leader. It is the willingness of people to follow that make a person. So again, if you have a follower, whether they are willing to participate to you, or I mean, either they are willing to give their participation in achieving your goal or not, or whatever the goal that has been designed. So leadership is a process of influence that we have already discussed. It exists only for the realization of common goals. Okay, it involves readiness to accept complete responsibility in all situation. Leadership, this is again very important, that you should not leave. As a good leader, he has to be there throughout. So means taking the responsibility more seriously than their followers. Leadership, so actually in short we could say the leadership is the quality is doing the things by others, but be there always, and be courteous, and always having good IQ and good EQ. That is what the prerequisite and very important aspect of a of a good leader. Okay, leadership styles don't change under different circumstances. So situation matters a lot. In different situation, one perform differently. Okay. Okay, just moving ahead. Functions of leader, just see that planning, setting goals, organizing, initiating action, coordinates, coordination, direction and motivation. Leader develop teamwork. Leader is a representative of subordinates. Leader is an appropriate counselor. So these are the some major function you can understand very easily. I mean, these are some self-explanatory idea, that planning, that the leader have knowledge and IQ and ego, that he and she should plan the goals and plan the whole ends and means, approaches and the process, how to achieve the goal. So that is what the plan, he and she should be good in planning, and take initiation in creating the planning and developing the planning and setting goals, because followers is always looking at you, that what kind of things you are actually setting, how you actually ask us to do that thing. So many of the followers are always, all of the followers, if anyone is a good leader, always they look into into the look up to their leaders, what kind of the guidance the leaders has been given. So initiating action is very important, that you have the ability, and leaders must have the ability to initiate any kind of the things. Coordinate, direction and motivate, that's we have already discussed while we discussed about the definition. So direction and motivation should be given, the leader should given the leader direction and motivate. Leaders develop teamwork. So these all are the some major functions of the community. Let's talk about the theories of leadership. Although there are many theories, if from the management perspective go, so you'll find a lot of the theories, even from the community perspective. So I just taken some of important theories to just to make you understand the idea of the theories that is from the community perspective. One is the trait theories. Trait theory says that a person born with certain traits that actually make him or her a leader, right? So and then also kind of the charismatic kind of the traits has been there's another set of the trait theories like the charismatic theory. So it talks about that few person born with some kind of the charisma, that he and she became the leader. So that innate qualities such as the charm, intelligence, confidence, sometimes voices and all that all matters to make a good leader. So this is about the trait theories. Next theory is talking about the theory of behavior. This gives a kind of the hope. Trait theory says that you born either as a leader or not. So either you're born with some kind of the traits, or you don't get that kind of the traits to become as a leader. So I mean, it's about only thing is here is based on the kind of the genetics you are having. Theory of behavior give a lot of the hopes that anyone can become a leader by learning some kind of the things that needs to be a good leader, like the and how they can actually modify their behavior for particular situation and for particular kind of the followers. Because as a leader, same situation, I mean, every time one leader cannot face or experience the same kind of the situation, and every time they cannot have the same kind of the followers. It's always changes. You just visualize any kind of the political parties or any political leader was having the different set of followers, and then there's a different set of situation they have. So in a different situation they have to perform differently. If they perform similarly, he is not going to survive for longer. So laissez-faire, democratic and autocratic, these are the three types of, mainly there are other types of the types of the kind of the behavior which has been required for a good leader. So laissez-faire, democracy and autocratic, there's three different types of the behavior, which says about by the theory of behavior that by following these, one can be of different set of the leader could be developed in a different situation. And then situational leadership is talking about that depending upon the situation, the circumstances and the followers, degree of maturity, leaders must modify their approaches. And this could be, I mean, what are the situation in the community? You have to be situationally, you have to bring change into that time of the situation. So again, see, I'm telling you every time you and you. So this is what you have to understand. You maybe became as a leader for the community and for any sphere. So you have to understand this. And apart from that, understanding these theories help you out while you're going the community, that you can suggest, you can develop the leaders within a community. So one thing is that you have to identify the leaders within a community, and second is very important that you have to develop the kind of leadership within a community for the further sustenance of any kind of the programs. So for the developing the leadership within a community, you need to understand these theories, right? That what kind of the leadership and what kind of the training you have to give it to particular person that you identify to become a leader of the community. So definitely you first look into the trait, if someone is participating more actively and all, and then who is ready to change their behavior, who understand the situation more and easily. So then you can develop the leaders from them. Transformational leadership is what is encourage change and creativity by inspiring and motivating followers to put the needs of the group ahead of their own. That encouraging the changes and creativity to their followers depending upon the situation. So this is about the transformational leadership. Depending on the different situation, the leaders are ready here to change their behavior and bring changes to their followers as well. Next is leadership as servant. Leadership as servant here, according to this philosophy, leaders should prioritize the needs of others and cultivate a feeling of community by acting as a servant first. So usually all the government officials actually been considered as a servant of their, you know, of the nation. So the term they are the servant of, right, but they have all those kind of the arrogance, or sometimes, not always, not all, everyone is, you know, many a time it happened that. But this is what I'm talking about. Leadership as a servant means the good leaders are those who actually consider himself or herself at the very last. You know, in anything, any this is the best aspect of the leaders. A leader can do that. So it is always considered by their followers as the best. We can take the example of Mahatma Gandhi here. So where he always he never put himself in front of anything. He didn't take any kind of the you know, position, power. He never thought about any position and all. So he was actually leading their followers. He was leading and guiding their followers to how to get the goals and all. What are the different types of leadership? So as we have discussed, while we discussed about the theories, that within the behavior there are autocratic, laissez-faire and democratic. So autocratic means, here I just defined it, a very typical traditional and you know, understanding of what is leadership is often the idea of leaders whose you know, complete control, very autocratic kind of the leaders. So they never you know, bend their beliefs and rules for anyone. So very strong headed, right, kind of the leaders is considered to be autocratic. Laissez-faire, in despite of that, is what type of leadership that give their team a full you know, independence of freedom to perform their job according to their will. So in essence, they can, you know, rely on their perspective and then perform functions subsequently. But laissez-faire could be performed you know, is good when their followers are, if they have believe, or to for their followers, that their followers are you know, actually are accordance to the need and the of the goal, and they have the whole the capacity and capability, then the laissez-faire is okay. But if the their followers are lazy, their followers are not ready to accept the things and doing the thing, so there should be the kind of little balance between the autocratic and laissez-faire is required. Democratic, that's why it's a balance in here, is comes in the democratic form. Democratic form means where the leaders leaded the thing, but also leads the thing, but he also taking their followers into the loop, and they have given all the rights to participate by them. Bureaucratic, they are servant, agile and pathetic, that's I have already discussed. So let's move ahead. There's a situational, visionary, free reign. That's free reign is somehow related to the laissez-faire. Empathetic is about you know, who's having can understand the others feeling, others person, others aspects. And then okay, now coming to the how many slides has been left. Qualities of good leader: integrity, inspiration, communication skill, vision, resilience, intuition. So a good leader are those leader who have that all kind of the amalgamation of these kind of the qualities. If he and she is not, he could, you know, actually develop in herself, so, or himself, that so that he could became a good leader, depending upon the and as per the demands of the situation and demand of their subordinates. Empathy is also important. Fairness, intelligence, creativity, patience, flexible, ability to understand human behavior. So by looking into, just look into all those qualities, that if anyone is having these qualities, definitely their followers are going to accept them or accept him or her as a good leader. Like if someone is having the integrity, having inspiration. So integrity means leaders have value actually virtuousness and an honesty is there. And furthermore, we could say that they are also surrounded by themselves with like-minded people and believe them and their vision. And they would be easily inspired. So these are the some things, and having a good vision, having the resilience power that can be get back from any kind of the failure and all. So having a good intuition that okay, if this is going to happen, what next will be. So intuition is very important characteristic and quality that is required for a good leader. So this is all about factor that influences the style: availability of time, relationship, good understanding with exact nature of the problem issues, capacity to handle conflicts, capacity to cope with stress, communication skills, capacity to handle different types of tasks, knowledge of different laws, judiciary and situation, knowledge of different welfare programs and policies. So awareness and knowledge is very important, because if you're not knowledgeable, if the leader is not knowledgeable, at certain point of the time, their subordinates are not going to listen, and they are actually making fun, actually if not in front but in back. So good leaders should be aware and then knowledgeable enough, right? Availability, depending upon the availability of time, one can actually show the different style. If it is an emergency, you cannot go with the laissez-faire behavior. That time you need the autocratic style of the leadership, because you have to done the things in a very little span of the time if anything is an emergency. So laissez-faire, with that time autocratic leaders or kind of the behavior is required. So depending, if you have a good relationship, you can have the laissez-faire, you can go with the democracy. So understanding of problem and issues is very important. Until if you're not aware about and understand, then analyze and realize the problems and issue, how you can deal with those problems and issues. So moving ahead, as the topic of this leadership, and here as in this paper of community work, so this is prime important to understand the local leadership. So we have discussed the different types of the leadership. So now local, how you can identify the leaders and how you can have to develop the leaders within a community. So local leadership is what, even whenever you go in a community, there are some leaders who are not selected or elected or sarpanch, but many a times they are like any elderly from that community is holding the power, and they come forward and they say, okay, for what reasons you are coming, just tell me. And everyone behind them listen, and then they actually believe that person, that he and she is okay, and she's enough capable enough to interact with whoever is coming from outside. So this is what the local leadership has always been there. Mainly the elderly people of that community, maybe any influencer of that community is considered the local leader. So if there is no leader in the locality, then there is no one who can speak for the local community. So for that reason, local leaders are so important. If there is if there is a selected members or sarpanch or any something like that, but even though the local leader is so much important, even in the urban areas, if there the MPs and MLAs are there, but even though the local leaders are so important, so to ask about that, why not there is electricity is available, why the street lights is not is not in a position, so and why the roads are not working properly. So there are always some leaders. If you identify in your own mohalla, there you always find, and definitely find some kind of the local leaders in your mohalla, in your locality. Many local communities face different kinds of challenge due to the change in the economy, climate, population, government policy, etc. Some people in those communities play an essential role in navigating these challenges. So at the time of the challenges in any community, so it's not like you're waiting for some MP and MLAs will come. So that time, who is actually leading, who is actually working in that crisis period? So that is what the local leaders, they always come forward. They are, because they are there in that community, they are more aware about their community. So local leaders, and this is very crucial for a social worker and for community workers to identify those local leaders, right? Local leaders who are living within a community genuinely care about everything that affects the communities. That's very important, because they are parcel of that community. So they are more close to their cultural context, they are more close to their issues and problem, rather than any leaders who's coming from outside, or any leader they have selected and elected. So if you take in the smaller community and larger community, so it's all the smaller community having their local leadership. So the role of the community leader is not fixed to all the community's problem, but rather to work together with the community members, community leader, mobilize and guide others. So it's not like that they have community leaders who has been designed and some kind of the activities they have to perform every time. No, actually at the time of the demands, they come forward and they do participate. So this is all about this session regarding the leadership. I hope you understand the idea of the leaders and what is the importance of to understand the leadership, and what are the important qualities of leadership, and how the different theories actually gives you an idea to identify and to build a good leadership qualities among others as well as among you. And while, as a part of community development process, the community workers need to identify the community leaders and potential leaders within a community, and actually develop the kind of qualities which has been required for that particular project and program. So a good leader develops the competence and commitment of their people, so they are self motivated rather than dependent on others for direction and guidance. This is a high level of leadership that has been required for any community, for the development of that community. So empowerment, power, leadership is about leading, is about changing, is about sharing, is about vision, is about inspiring people, it's about empowering people. So this is all about the leadership, and I wish that you will be good leader in your own way, in your own life, and you will be a good influencer for your community and for your whole nation so far. Thank you so much for listening.